Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday.
In Netherlands, the far-right populist leader Geert Wilders has registered a stunning victory in elections. With nearly all votes counted, Wilders' Party of Freedom (PVV) has won 37 seats out of 150 in the lower house of parliament. This is more than double, that is 17, the party has won in the last elections. Wilders is now poised to start working on forming a coalition, but the process could be challenging and take months. After the exit polls results, which predicted 35 seats for PVV, Wilders said he wanted to adhere to the constitution and is already working towards forming a coalition. Wilders, who has been an MP since 1998 and lives under police protection for his anti-immigration stance, said he would curtail an asylum tsunami and ensure Dutch gets their country back. Malaysia will scrap entry visa requirements for Indian citizens visiting the nation beginning the 1st of December this year. Now, Indian nationals may stay up to 30 days visa-free in Malaysia. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim made this announcement in a speech at the People's Justice Party Annual Congress in Putrajaya yesterday. Along with Indian citizens, Chinese nationals will also be allowed visa-free entry from December 1st. Malaysia is counting on extra tourist arrivals and their spendings to support economic growth. Anwar last month announced plans to improve visa facilities to encourage the entry of tourists and investors. Christopher Luxon has been sworn in as New Zealand's Prime Minister last week. The swearing-in ceremony was presided over by Governor-General Cindy Kiro. Luxon leads a conservative coalition after his national party struck a deal on Friday with two smaller parties following a general elections last month. Under the coalition agreement, Luxon has promised to deliver tax cuts and less government bureaucracy, including a 6.5% cut to the public service. After the swearing-in ceremony, he said his top priority is to improve the economy. He said he would hold his first cabinet meeting tomorrow and look to quickly finalize a 100-day plan. In Uttarakhand, all 41 workers who were trapped inside the collapsed Silkyara tunnel in Uttarkashi district have been evacuated safely. In the last stage of the rescue operation, rat hole mining experts were pressed into service. They began manual drilling through the rubble, and the auger machine pushed 800 mm horizontal pipe into the tunnel. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami and Union Minister of State General V.K. Singh remained present at the incident site for the last few days and monitored the rescue operation. During the entire rescue operation, essential items including food, water, medicine and oxygen were provided to the workers with the help of dedicated 4 and 6-inch pipeline. Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Wednesday last week said that the United National Liberation Front (UNLF), the oldest valley-based armed groups of Manipur, have signed a peace agreement in New Delhi and renounced violence. He added that it marks the end of 6-decade-long armed movement. I welcome them to the democratic processes, Shah further wrote on X. India has voted in favor of a draft UNGA resolution on concern over Israel not withdrawing from Syrian Golan Heights amidst Israel-Hamas war. The resolution introduced by Egypt was adopted by a recorded vote of 91 in favor, 8 against and 62 abstentions. Golan Heights is a region in southwestern Syria that was occupied by Israel on 5th of June 1967. A Virgin Atlantic plane powered by 100% pure sustainable aviation fuel took off from UK's Heathrow Airport and landed at US JFK Airport on Tuesday last week. The airline posted The takeoff videos of the flight run on a blend of waste cooking oil, animal fats, and other fuels, making world's first achievement. Virgin Atlantic founder Richard Branson was on it. 30th November 23 was the last day of India's G20 presidency. Brazil will be leading the G20 presidency for the next 1 year. Under India's G20 presidency, the 18th G20 summit successfully concluded in New Delhi in September this year. Several global important issues were discussed by the members of G20 nations during the summit. India took several path-breaking initiatives and decisions under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. One of the important decisions was to include the African Union under the ambit of G20. Apart from this, the Global Biofuel Alliance had launched to intensify the use of biofuels by fostering global cooperation. Another important decision was the launch of India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor and Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. These initiatives are an effective medium of economic integration between India, West Asia, and Europe and offer a sustainable direction for global connectivity and development. G20 New Delhi Leaders Declaration was adopted unanimously, which reflects the growing stature of India on the world stage. The 28th session of the Conference of the Parties COP28 to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change commenced at Dubai in the United Arab Emirates last week. The annual UN Climate Change Conference, which will continue till 12th of December, has opened with a resounding call to accelerate collective climate action and higher ambition against escalating climate crisis. Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked on a 2-day visit to UAE to attend the World Climate Action Summit in Dubai. The summit is the high-level segment of the COP28. In a proactive move, Prime Minister Modi proposed the Green Credits Initiative, a mass campaign extending beyond the commercial aspect of carbon credits. This initiative focuses on creating carbon sinks through public participation with an initiative for global leaders to join this movement. Uganda has qualified for T20 World Cup for the first time ever, while Zimbabwe failed to qualify for the T20 World Cup 2024. Uganda defeated Rwanda by 9 wickets in their last African qualifier match to book their place in T20 World Cup 2024, which will be held in Caribbean and USA. Namibia has also qualified for the tournament from the African nation. Israel on Friday last week resumed combat against Hamas in Gaza as it accused the Palestinian militant group of violating the 7-day temporary truce by firing towards Israeli territory. The ceasefire, which began on 24th November, had allowed for the exchange of dozens of hostages held in Gaza for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. The Taliban have de facto taken control over Afghan's consulate operating in India after the country's embassy in New Delhi was shut down by the former ambassador of the erstwhile Islamic Republic of Afghanistan on 1st December 2023, as per the reports. The Taliban have said that they will soon reopen the embassy in New Delhi. The Afghanistan embassy had announced its closure in November in New Delhi this year. And now for the segment where we see the events that unfolded itself this week back in history. 26 November 1942, premiere of Casablanca. Set in occupied Morocco during World War II, directed by Michael Curtiz and starring Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, and Paul Henreid. Casablanca premiered this day in 1942 and became one of the Hollywood's most revered films. 27th November 1895, Nobel Prizes established. Through the will draw up by Alfred Bernhard Nobel, the Swedish chemist, engineer, and industrialist who invented dynamite and other more powerful explosives. The Nobel Prizes were established on this day in 1895. 28th November 1943, opening of Tehran Conference. The Tehran Conference, attended by US President Franklin D. Roosevelt, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin, at which Stalin pressed for an invasion of France, opened this day in 1943. 29th November 1947, United Nations resolution for the partition of Palestine. On this day in 1947, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution, not implemented, calling for partition of Palestine into two separate states, an Arab and a Jewish one, that would retain on economic union. 30 November 1966, Independence of Barbados. Barbados, an island nation in the Caribbean situated about 100 miles, that is 160 kilometers west of the Windward Islands, had gained internal self-rule in 1961 and achieved its full independence from Britain on this day in 1966. December 1955, Rosa Parks' refusal to relinquish her bus seat. This day in 1955, in violation of segregation laws in the Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks refuses to surrender her bus seat to a white passenger and was arrested, sparking a 381-day bus boycott led by Martin Luther King Jr. December 1823, Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine, which declared the United States would not interfere in European affairs, but that its sphere of interest included the entire Western Hemisphere, was initiated by President James Monroe this day in 1823.
Well, that's all, friends, for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.